Hello and welcome back to another episode on the channel by me, TheWiseJames. So I'm just going to be reacting to this video. She thinks the UK flag is white supremacist by Amala Ekpunobi. Okay, I tried to pronounce your name correctly. I apologise if that was wrong. But anyway, let's get into the video. So this person thinks my country's flag, or the flag that represents my nation, is racist. We'll see about that.
A young woman in the UK says she's getting scared because she's seeing more and more people display UK flags in her country. Now, she states this is a sign of white supremacy and far-right extremism. So let's talk.
No, it's a form of national pride because our national pride has been suppressed for so many years.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Because today we're going to talk about the idea of national pride and whether or not it's a sign of white supremacy or far-right extremism.
Can you have national pride without being white? Yes, Indians are proud of being Indian and proud of their country, India. So, national pride has nothing to do with white supremacy. That's already done with.
We've heard the same sentiment shared by leftists here in the United States. They say they're really scared to see people who are displaying US flags in their front yard or businesses that do so. And they think this is a clear sign of an extreme form of patriotism that gives way to white supremacy and far-right extremism.
Oh, see, can you see?
Now, I came across this video on TikTok of a young woman talking about this very same idea, but she lives in the UK. And as somebody who's been to the UK,
Nose rings.
quite a bit, okay? I thought it'd be interesting to listen to this and see if it at all relates to what's happening here in the US and maybe respond to some of her claims.
Well, yes, they're doing the exact same thing here in the UK as they are in America and trying to divide us all so that we fight each other instead of arguing with those in power over what they've done wrong. That's all it is.
And I would love if anybody who's watching from the UK right now comments down below.
I'm from the UK. I live in the northeast. I've lived in the south. My family's been here for 1,000 years, right? So I'm doing you one better than a comment. I'm doing you a reaction video. That's even better.
How you feel about this particular sentiment. Let's get into it.
I think that you should be allowed to display your country's flag or your national flag. And just because someone gets upset by it means nothing, right? I don't like the way some people cut their grass. I don't like the way some people's cars look. But I'm not on the internet crying about it, right? And cars kill people. And, I don't know, someone's died of grass because they've got probably breathing issues or their eyes don't like pollen or something, you know? So, I don't care. You can tell straight away from her nose piercings that she's, well, one of those.
I think it's time we have a conversation about how the rise of nationalism and patriotism in the UK is actually very scary and very dangerous. If you're not from the UK and you have not lived here, you will not understand how rampant racism is.
There are lots of races in the UK. She's right. There always has been. But what you got to understand is all this rise of the far right is being done intentionally by Reform UK because their demographic of voters are far-right racist extremists. So they appeal to the racists by stirring up racist hate and driving all the racists to vote for them. So there's been a massive rise in the racism of the far right and the far right because that's what this political group want to get the votes so that they get power. And this is done intentionally. This is not accidentally. It's every single day the Reform politicians are on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, saying how migrants are doing this, migrants are attacking little girls, migrants are taking money from your mother and your father and they're scamming your grandparents. It's migrants this, migrants that. Every day they try to scare and terrorize people into voting for them. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for it. A lot of people. It was the same in World War II Germany. They did the same thing with the Jews. Blamed the Jews for everything. People started hating the Jews, and then they were happy when awful stuff started happening to them. And that's what's going to happen with migrants in the UK. There's going to start being awful things happening to innocent, perfectly legal migrants because of illegal migrants.
People view the UK as this like gorgeous, multicultural, blended country, and it is, and I love it. But recent years, it has just been increasing and increasing and increasing. And in case you haven't noticed and you've been living under a rock, the past few weeks, specifically St. George flags, so the English flag, and Union Jacks have been springing up everywhere.
Oh, look at that. You can see in the top corner of my stream here, up there, is the British flag. And I started putting that British flag on my streams. I did this, because the British government was taking down, or trying to get people to take down their flags on their property, right? So, I said to everyone, well, just flood the internet with it then. They can't remove the British flag and English flag from every place on the internet. So, I put it on there. There's nothing the police can do. There's literally nothing they can do. This is my show. I manage this. They have no say whatsoever what goes into my videos. This isn't China. They can't tell me what I can and cannot put in a video. So, well, within limits, you know what I mean. So, this whole, you don't even need to be far right to be having a flag. But because I have this on my show, people would think I'm far right when I'm a centrist. I'm not left, I'm not right. I'm not playing your silly little childish game of you've got to pick their side or my side. There's no other sides. These are all children, to be honest. Absolute children.
Okay, let's pause. Now, I've been to Bath. I've been to London quite a bit.
Bath's alright. London's a shithole.
Is probably the place I've been the most in the UK. I've been.
Yeah, I wouldn't judge England and Britain off London. It's like the one place in the UK that is nothing like the rest of the country.
A little bit through the Cotswolds, and
Ooh, Cotswolds is nice. Ooh.
Gorgeous multicultural? I don't know. Blended? I don't know. And I feel the very same way about America and other areas in the West that are being sort of overrun right now by immigration. Blended is not necessarily the word that I would use. And clearly, if she claims they're having issues with far-right extremism and people responding to immigration and multiculturalism, as she calls it, then you're not blending that well. And we should probably ask ourselves why that's taking place. Is it just...
To be honest, right, we do have plenty multiculturalism in the UK, and 99% of it is perfectly fine. Like, I live in the largest Jewish community, Orthodox Jewish community, like in England, right? So there's probably 15,000 Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Hasidic Jews, surround me, right? But nobody mentions anything about them because they're white. But if they were all brown and black individuals who followed Islam, or were Sikhs or Hindus, you can guarantee all these same people would be kicking off about the people in my area. But they say nothing because these migrants are white. It's okay because these migrants are white.
Just because there's a bunch of white supremacists running around who don't like immigrants? Or are there other issues that are taking place because of the immigration into your country that...
So there is problems because of immigration. There's no doubt about it. So there are men out there who are lying about the things in their life, like saying they're fleeing for their lives makes you a refugee. So when you come to a country, when you try to gain entry, if you're just trying to work there or study there and then leave, it's just a temporary visa, isn't it? A work or study visa. But if you're trying to live there for the rest of your life, it's obviously a migration. But if you've only gone there fleeing for your life because you can't go home because they would kill you, you're then considered a refugee. Someone who has no way to go home because their life is in danger, right? So there are men all over the world who have been lying for a few years now, many years, to get into our country, to claim free benefits so that they can get the wage our countries offer and send it back home because it's worth more in their country than it is here. So if I was, say, a man from, I don't know, Bulgaria, I could come to the UK and then work a job that's 8 times more pay than my job back home, So I could claim, oh, I can't go home because I'm gay, otherwise they'd kill me, or organised criminals would kill me, blah, 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 so I'm a refugee. So they let you work for 8 times more money than you were working back home. So you send half of that money back home, so that your family back home is now earning 4 times the amount of money. So you're actually doing better for your family back home than you were previously by leaving them. And you've also got money yourself. And you've also got a benefit system. So even if you lost your job, or you got injured, or something happened, the government will pay you anyway. And you'll still earn more money from that benefit system than you did in your job back home. So we have lots of men who will lie to get into our country, to take advantage of the system, and it's costing us a lot in taxes. And it also, if you get one fake refugee, they take the place of a genuine refugee in our system. So the genuine refugees are still there, people who are genuine refugees, but they kind of get overshadowed by all these fake refugees.
Should be addressed and acknowledged. And if people are starting up to put up national flags, let's say I put up an American flag in my front yard, somebody in the UK puts up the Union Jack or the St. George flag, is it maybe that they're trying to express that they love this country, they want to conserve parts of this country, and not necessarily that they're white supremacists? I don't know.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. But do you know how this is racist? To kick off with white people for putting up a British and English flag? Let me tell you how it's racist, okay? So, if you only have ever told a white person who's American or British that you think their flag's racist, but you've never told, I don't know, China, or I'm trying to think of a country whose flag we could deem as racist. I don't want to offend any countries by making out their flags racist, because then I'd become a hypocrite. So I'm not going to do it. But I could quite easily sit here and point out that all these people who call the British flag or English flag racist and the American flag racist, have they ever called a non-white country's flag racist? Or was it only when white people in America and Britain use their flag? Because if it's only when the Americans and the British use their flags you think it's racist, you're racist. Because you're judging an entire race of people by their race. You're judging all white people for doing something with a flag, but you don't judge any brown or black people for it. So you're a racist then, aren't you? You're a racist. You judge an entire group of race different to everyone else because of their race. You're a racist. So every single person who's ever said that, you can't use your British flag or English flag because you're racist, that's racist, unless if you've had a go at a black person for their country's flag, you kicked off with a guy from Senegal because he had his Senegal flag on, then fine, you're not a racist. But we all know none of these people have ever said anything to a black or brown person about their country's flag, so it's only when it's a white person's flag. Huh. And it's always these black individuals complaining about our flag. It's racist.
Let's keep watching.
Not the flag, the people complaining about it.
I mean, absolutely everywhere. Noticed it on my own road, about 2 weeks ago, but it...
Good. I'm glad everyone in your street has finally got some sense. I'm glad to see that my power of influence is finally fruiting.
It's in every neighbourhood in my area and several areas across London and the rest of the UK. Coming home just now from work, it's nearly 4 a.m. I have seen bunting put all up my street, and the fear I had in my body at seeing that was unreal. Coming home at night,
Coming home at night as a woman, you would be scared anyway. You're just blaming the English flag when it's not. It's your insecurity. Shut the fuck up.
I myself, as a young black woman, astronomical, I couldn't even speak on it. I think we forget as a country.
She's manipulated her emotions to try and use it as truth to lie. Do you really think that we're this stupid? Are you...
That a year ago, give or take a few weeks, People of colour were scared to leave their homes and go to work because of the far-right extremists. They were literally putting blades in the seats of the tube.
And now let's look into this. First of all, I'm thinking about this. She says, I'm seeing this stuff all over the place. It really instills a lot of fear in me as a black woman who's walking home at night. I'm not totally familiar with all the stats on crime in the UK, but I have a feeling there are far bigger threats than a white supremacist extremist who's going to attack you in the middle of the night as a black.
Yeah, as a black woman walking down the streets in the middle of the night in the UK, the last thing you would be worrying about is a flag. You would be worrying about organised criminals going about doing their drug deals or trafficking their prostitutes, that sort of thing. You would be worried about dangerous males who are predators who might attack you from dark corners. You wouldn't be worried about your safety because of a flag. No. She's a liar. She's used her fear, which was true. She was genuinely scared that night. That's true. But she's used it to lie. It wasn't because of the flags. And if she thinks it was because of the flags, she's not lying. She's mistaken. She's just so dumb that even she doesn't get her own brain, but I do.
Black woman. Just based on what I've read so far about the UK, based on my own experiences in the UK, I wasn't looking around for white supremacists and far-right extremists. I gotta be honest with you guys. And I went ahead and looked into...
Just ignore the cunts, man. There's so many of them. Just ignore them. There's always been these small numbers of white supremacists in our country who think Britain was always white and it was always Christian, and anyone who's not white or Christian is a foreigner or an invader or an immigrant and isn't British and shouldn't be here. Even though this country was never always white and was never, ever always Christian. You know, Christianity was born after, this country had religions. We had paganism, pantheism, Druidism. This country was never Christian. And we've always had black people amongst us. Because we're literally only a few hours boat journey north of Africa. You leave Senegal and the Gambia and just go north in a boat, you will end up on the southern coast of Britain. It's that simple. So we've always had black individuals in our society. Always. In World War II, we literally had black people winning the highest honours, the highest medals. Hundreds of black people were given the Victoria Cross and the highest medals and honours you can imagine in war. It was the same for America. The royal family has had black military guards for hundreds of years. There was a black knight who was literally a knight in England hundreds of years ago. So this idea that we've always been just white and Christian is bullshit. Right? Christians came over from the Roman Empire and killed us all into being Christians. This was Celtic land. The north, Scotland, and to the west, where Wales and Ireland is, it was all Celtic. The Romans came in and murdered everyone into being Christian. So now we have all these white people grow up thinking, oh, well, it's a white country and we're a Christian country, yeah? Well, no, actually, we're not. We're a multiracial country. Everyone here is a migrant. Every single person is the descendant of a migrant. My family might have been here for 1,000 years, right? But at the end of the day, this is an island. You cannot get to an island without a boat. So every single person here, every single family in the UK, at some point or another, arrived on a boat. Because it is geographically impossible to get to an island 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago where no humans would be, because humanity started in Africa and spread out, right? So one day, a family got on a boat or swam from France to Britain. So they migrated. Everyone in Britain is the result of multicultural immigration. Our country is built on it. Now, there's a lot of slavery involved in it as well. So it's not just immigration, but you try telling white people in this country that they're all migrants. They don't like it, but they are. They're European migrants from Germany, from Italy, from Greece, from Spain, from Portugal, from the Nordic countries like Sweden and the Scandinavian countries, like all them countries, Slovakia, Slovenia, Austria. This is where we all come from. We are migrants on this island. They just don't like hearing it.
this whole razor blade story. Now, here's an article that says public warned after razor blades found under far-right extremist sticker at train stations. Now, apparently this happened, I guess, on one occasion. It says here that British transport police are urging the public to report any findings of stickers advertising a far-right extremist group after a razor blade was discovered hidden underneath one in a train station. So it was a sticker for the National Front Rights for Whites, I guess is what it's called. And somebody...
Rights for Whites. Wow.
posted this, they found the sticker, and there was a razor blade underneath it. Now, mind you, we don't know who placed that sticker there. We don't know who put the razor blade.
Could have been someone who
sticker,
has.
But let's just assume that.
You see, what could happen here is the far left could have planted that to try and make the far right look bad. You don't know.
White supremacists were placing these razor blades under stickers, which I guess only one was found according to this article. This might have been misreported, but do we think that's like the largest threat in the world compared to all the other crimes that are taking place in the UK? It's definitely not good. But again, she's talking about this great fear that she has, that she didn't even want to sit down on a train because she saw a story about a singular razor blade being placed under a far-right extremist sticker.
Yeah, but come on.
It seems like it's an irrational...
We all know that women will use these popular stories to try and make themselves be the victim. So, a razor blade was found on a train. Oh, I can't get on a train because I'm a woman. I'm the victim. Everyone's talking about having these flags up. Oh, so I'm the victim because I walked past some flags. I'm sorry, without being sexist to you, dear Amala, I'm not talking about all women, but a lot of women will use every and any situation that people are talking about to talk about themselves. It's literally pathetic.
Fear compared to the other things that are taking place in the UK. And on my first trip to London, okay, I was there for 2 weeks, maybe a month. It was a pretty lengthy trip. I'll say it wasn't a short one. The things that I saw taking place that were crimes. I mean, like, people were getting mugged, their phones stolen.
Yeah, you're in London. What do you expect? If you go to any capital city in the world, you will see the same thing. Go to Madrid. Go to Rome. Go to Tel Aviv. go to any capital city in the world. Go to Mexico's capital, Mexico City. Go to Brazil. Go to what's theirs? Rio. Go to Rio. Every major city in the world. If you spend a couple of weeks there, you will see muggings, street violence, people trying to steal cars and phones, shoplifting nearly every day. That's normal in a major city. That's standard.
Stolen. People were getting stabbed, beat up, robbed of their Rolexes, and all these different things. And I don't think it was far-right extremists. I don't think it was white supremacists. And I was looking around London, and I'm wondering, like, wow, this doesn't really look.
A lot of the mobile phone thieves are the far right. That's why they wear masks.
Like what I pictured the UK to look like. Now, that's okay if everybody is assimilated and we're sitting in a shared culture. And multiculturalism works when you bring in wonderful parts of your culture whilst engaging in the culture that you've moved to. So when people refuse to engage with the culture that they moved to, or they're actually denigrating the culture, or they're saying, I don't want to be a part of this culture, but I want to live in your country, or they're going even further than that and saying, I want to come into this country and then commit crimes against people, you're going to have an issue. And it's not a blended, beautiful, multicultural country. Sorry. And we're experiencing the same thing here in the United States, which is why we're on this whole anti-illegal immigration bend right now. Because
I hate to say this, Amala. I don't know you, dear, but America is actually a fantastic example of multicultural success, even though it was built on slavery and illegal migration of European migrants to the Americans and the slaughtering of the Native American people, which I still despise what was done. Literally, your entire country, the USA, is Native Americans, European migrants, and the descendants of black slaves. That's 3 cultures right there. That's Europe, that's Africa, and America. Your entire country, your entire fucking country is built on multiculturalism. Like, you've got Indian casinos in Las Vegas up to the eyeballs. Native American casinos. trying to get their money back that you all stole because you invaded and took their land, right? You've got Mexicans who have previously lived in South America and then now work and live in America. You've got Canadians, right? Inuit people probably, who... Literally, America is a classic example, just like Britain, of multicultural success. However, what you need to understand is there are some people who don't want it to be that way, and so they'll tell you it's the opposite. It's a failure. And how, because there's illegal migrants coming over, you know, there's all these problems, and it's all their fault. That's why the country's bad. And you know what? You can guarantee they'll be the ones who are in charge of the systems that were failing, and it's their fault, but they wanted to blame the brown and black person, not this white person. I'm sorry, right, but you don't seem to grasp that just because this computer in front of you and your phone and your television tells you that multiculturalism has not been a success doesn't mean you're correct. Doesn't mean you're correct at all. Because, to be honest, non-multiculturalism was never a success. Having everyone segregated into their own tribes and community, and you white people stay over there, and black people stay over there, the Chinese will be here, and then the Koreans can stay here, and we all just stay in our own little utopia and leave each other alone and everything will be fine. Never worked, did it? It never worked. That never ever worked in a million years. Didn't work. And multiculturalism is working. It is working. It's just... problems happen, yes, there's problems, but it's working fine. What it does, right, is it stops us from... You know when there's a problem and everything kicks off? If you live in a multicultural society, you don't go, oh, it's that foreigner's fault. That's that guy's fault. When you live in a multicultural society, it's everyone's fault. It's the white guys, the black guys, the women, the men. It's everyone's fault. But when you live in just one ethnic group society, like if you live in an entirely white Geordie group and something goes wrong, they're going to blame the Mackhams or they're going to blame anyone who's not a white Geordie. Like, multiculturalism is a fantastic success when done right. When done right. But when it's forcibly pushed and the problems it causes are ignored, it's been done intentionally so that it fails, so that they can claim it failed. People are intentionally trying to make multiculturalism fail so that they can claim when they said it was going to fail, they were right. Because it's not failing, it's succeeding. Look at America, look at Canada, look at the UK. I know we have problems, but we are 3 of the most powerful countries in the world, in every regard. We have people from every walk of the country, so... when someone attacks the UK, Indian people die. Chinese people die. So India kicks off. China kicks off. Like, we're all so interlinked that no longer is white people problems just white people problems. It's now everyone's problem. Alright?
We went too far. We simply went too far. And the citizens here in this country are experiencing the negative effects of going too far down that.
I don't understand how it's only gone too far now. Did you not think it was too far when European migrants came over to America and killed millions of Native American people, took their land, took their resources, and then claimed it as their own? And now, you all go around telling brown people, sometimes even Native Americans, because they look foreign to you, to go back to their own country. Yet the Mexicans were there before you. Because you are literally the white immigrants. There's no person in America who is white who is not a migrant. That's how every single white person in America is a fucking migrant. Every single one of them.
That route. The same for the UK. So if you're saying you're seeing a rise in flags that are popping up in the UK, that's probably why.
People of colour were scared to sit down on public transport because they thought they were going to literally bleed. People were getting acid thrown in their faces.
Okay? People were getting acid thrown in their face.
See, what she's doing is she's using the truth to lie. There has been acid attacks for 20 years in this country. On celebrities, on females from ex-partners, from lots of people have had acid attacks. And she's now using that to try and claim it's a racist element. She's using truth to lie here. This is what you do, right? You get the truth. Okay? This is the truth, right? Okay, there's the truth. Right there. Get a piece of paper here. This is what she's doing here. She's a liar. I can tell you right now she's a liar. You get the lie. Sorry, you get the lie here. This is the lie. This is the truth. So I get the pen, the lie, cover it in truth, like that. So, on the surface, what I'm saying looks true. But when you unravel it, oh no, it's a lie. That's what she's doing. She's using truth to lie. So I can promise you right now, she's not a good person because she's using truth to lie about racism and make herself the victim. She's a narcissist. She's literally a fucking narcissist. Full-blown, medically diagnosed, or should be diagnosed, narcissist.
For this, I was like, okay, let me look into far-right acid attacks in the UK, which when I think of...
Even when someone else is the victim, she's made herself the victim. Someone else is getting an acid attack, she's the victim. Some far-right extremists or far-left extremists trying to frame them put a sticker with a razor blade somewhere, and she's the victim. Some people put some flags up in their street while she's walking home in the middle of the night alone, and the flags scared her, and she's the victim. I wonder what else she's the victim from. Maybe when the Titanic sank, she's the victim. Maybe when some bloke down the road had a heart attack, she's the victim. Like...
acid being thrown in the face. Let me look to this.
Yes, acid has been thrown in the face of many people in the UK and all over the world. Acid attacks are a very common thing in this world. I'm not going to tell you what people do because I might give stupid people idiot ideas. But yes, that's what they do. It's been going on for years. But she's never mentioned it now until she could use it to try and declare racism. I bet you she has never mentioned an acid attack ever in her life until she could try and imply it made her feel scared because it was racist. I guarantee you she's never mentioned it before now. I guarantee it.
Camera. Guys, what demographic is typically responsible for acid attacks? Let's ask that question. Is it white supremacists and far-right extremists and anti-immigration groups? No, I don't think so. So I tried to look into this and find any evidence of this.
There's no record for it. There's no way to know. The most common acid attacks are done by jealous females on other women because they want to destroy their beauty. So they throw acid in their face so their face melts. And then you also get... to be fair, it's most commonly women. It's most commonly women. But there have been cases where males use it in attacks because it's easier to get hold of than a knife or a gun sometimes. The element I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into it. So... yeah, it's mostly females who get attacked because people want to destroy their beauty, or it's used as a weapon in a crime like a theft or a drug attack or something like that.
This says there is no established record of acid attacks in the UK being motivated by far-right extremist groups.
Never has been. Never has been. The most common reason someone who gets an acid attack is it's a woman and some other woman's jealous of her looks, wants to make her less beautiful, so throw some acid in her face. Because, she's a jealous bitch or something.
Or specifically motivated by far-right extremist groups. Although, acid attacks are a form of violent crime that do occur in the UK.
Yes, they are, yes. They 100% are.
I'll just leave you guys with that. You guys can figure that one out.
Batter people in the street. A man got mobbed out of his fucking car and then it was set alight. What the, people act like Britain is this, so far cry removed from racism.
It is. It is. Most of the UK is removed from racism, right? In my street, in this street alone, we've got black people, we've got brown people, we've got white people, we've got foreign white people, national white people. We've got Jewish families, right?
Literally so close to the surface, you just choose to ignore it. And now...
no, we don't choose to ignore it. It's just, it's a minority. It's a minority.
This rising sentiment of patriotism and nationalism. Yes, great, be patriotic.
Go England.
Be proud of where you're from, this, that, and the third. You don't understand the fear that it comes with being so patriotic and so proud of your country. Like, especially with how closely these flags, specifically the St. George flag, the English flag, has been tied to anti-migrant policies, anti-migrant protests, just anti-migrant rhetoric. This very us versus them mentality. You're either with us and you're proud to be British, or
But you're not a migrant. You're black and British. This girl was born in Britain, raised in England, and Britishly educated, and I can tell you from the way she talks, so were her parents. Because she not be got an accent, mon. She not be having Jamaican parents, mon. So her parents aren't Jamaican. She wasn't raised by foreign parents. I can tell you right now, her parents are also born and English British. So she's sitting here acting like she's a migrant so she can be a victim. She's not even a fucking migrant. She's a national Brit.
or not.
Fuck's sake.
Here is disgusting.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Like, she's literally pretending to be a migrant or somehow be a migrant when she's not. She's British.
Here that it comes with being so patriotic and so proud of your country.
If she had parents who were not born British people, she would have an accent, a foreign twang in her vocabulary. And she doesn't. So her parents speak the same way she does.
Like, especially with how closely these flags, specifically the St. George flag, the English flag, has been tied to anti-migrant policies.
So you see what I mean? How she's using truth to lie. Because what she's really doing here is trying to get herself attention and be the victim. She's making herself the victim over everything that comes along here. Everything that's come along, she's made herself the victim.
Anti-migrant protests, just anti-migrant
She's not a migrant.
rhetoric. This very us versus them mentality. You're either with us and you're proud to be British, or you're not, and therefore you shouldn't be here, is disgusting.
Okay, let's talk about that. This idea of being patriotic, of being proud of where you're from, of where you live. Now, she very quickly brushes over, yeah, be patriotic, be proud of where you live. We don't want to express it like that, do we? As somebody who lives in a country that we hopefully appreciate, that we hopefully want to conserve, at least the good parts of its culture, we have to talk about patriotism and have a conversation about nationalism and country pride and displaying the flag and things like that, and what that means to each individual. Now, if you are a migrant who is moving into a country, I would hope it'd be of pretty deep importance that you subscribe to the culture of that country, that you appreciate and are proud of the country that you want to enter and stay in. And if we do not have that as a qualification...
Yeah, I completely understand that point. Like, you've got to think about it, white people, European people. If you were going to move to a non-white country, right? So China or some country in Africa or a South American country, if you were going to move to one of these countries, you would pick one where you liked the culture. So, I quite like the culture in China and Japan, right? I like the fact they have discipline and honor, right? The fact that I would be the tallest around. They'd be like, there go that white man, he's so tall, right? I would love it. I wouldn't like some of the food, but I would like some of the other food. I would like some of this, and I wouldn't like some of that. So you'd have to pick and choose which non-white culture you would go to. And you wouldn't pick one and go there and then complain about the culture. Like, you'd pick one you liked. So I wouldn't pick Korea. Maybe South Korea. Sure, but not North Korea. And I probably wouldn't pick China, but I probably would pick Japan because I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so it's like a pilgrimage to me. It's the Dragon Ball Z pilgrimage. You got to go to Japan. You got to go and see the Dragon Ball land, the land of Dragon Ball.
Of being in the country, you're going to lose your country. It's just as simple as that. If you have a ton of people flow into your country who do not understand the culture, do not appreciate the culture, do not understand the laws or appreciate the laws, and quite frankly, a lot of them just hate the country, like don't care about the country, but understand that their life is going to be better in the country, you're going to have a problem on your hands. This rise of...
You've got to imagine, right, if you went to China as a European migrant and started whinging about China, about, I hate the Chinese culture, I hate the Chinese people, they're so racist, you would be put in prison and then deported. Or, well, you'd probably be given 5-10 years forced manual labour, then deported. back to wherever you came from. They wouldn't tolerate you insulting their flag, their people, and their country while you get free shit from it. They wouldn't tolerate it. But we over here in the UK, we tolerate it. Now, I'm a nice guy. I'm liberal in many ways. I'm right-wing in many ways. I wouldn't call myself far-right. But if you ask me about child sex offenders, I'm going to give you a far-right answer. If you ask me about rapists and criminals, I'm going to give you a far-right answer. But if you ask me about the environment and education, it's probably going to be a left-wing answer. I am what you call a centrist. I hold both right-wing and left-wing views. You don't have these things in America, so it's all you're either with me or you're against me. And that ideology has been imported into our country by Nigel Farage. And so over the last 5 years, my country switched from specifically identifying people by their political group, and now it's the same as America. Everyone's left or everyone's right, and if you're not right, you must be left, so you're against me, so you're a lefty. And if you're not left, you must be right, you're not a lefty, you're against us, you're a far-right nationalist, right? Because of this American political delusion that has infected my country, my whole country has become brainwashed by the same CIA psyop they've done to your country, so that you all fight each other instead of arguing with the American government. That's what they've done to you all. And now that ideology has been imported by Nigel Farage and Reform and brainwashed over the UK with GB News, and nobody seems to understand what's been done. Like, nobody in this world seems to grasp how easily people are brainwashed with screens. Apart from the people doing it.
Far-right extremism, as many in the UK want to call it, is not out of nowhere. It is a response to something. Now, I'm not labeling this as far-right extremism, although people would love to do that because they have their own little narrative that they want to share. It is a response to something, and it is a response to the crime that's taking place in the UK.
The far-right extremism is like the EDL, UKIP, the National Front. Those things are far-right extremism. Like, so you could be far-right, and if you've never done anything extreme about it, you're not an extremist, are you? Just because you hold extreme views, I don't think deems you an extremist. The UK government does, by the way. If you believe in extreme things, but you've never acted on it, the UK government considers you no different to a terrorist. Personally speaking, I don't consider people with extreme views to be extremists unless they've acted on it. So just because you're an extreme Catholic who thinks, you know, no matter what you do, you can be forgiven for your sins, and that's your religion, doesn't mean that, like, that's the case, does it? That's not the case. So people all have these funny delusions. Everyone has these funny delusions in their mind. The UK government has these delusions that they know better than the people, and they don't.
It is a response to the immigration that is taking place in the UK. It is a response to politicians who are not.
It's been intentionally done. The news and the papers and social media is every single day is hammering every British person, morning, afternoon and night. Migrants are doing this. Migrants are attacking children. Migrants are hurting this. Migrants are doing that. It's constant. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, brainwashing to get you to hate foreigners so that this political group called Reform get voted in. Do you know which news company is basically Reform's propaganda machine? Is GB News. GB News is ran and operated solely for the intention of getting this political party in power. It's a propaganda machine, and I don't know how it's not illegal. I've got no idea how it's not illegal, but it's not. So this political group built up this media company, pretending it's an independent news channel for everyone in the UK, even calling it GB News, like ridiculously. And they're not. It's a propaganda machine for a political party, and everything they say and do is with the intention of getting this party in power, because they're the ones who run this news company. Okay? So every day they hammer their political opponents, they hammer the government, and they try and use scare tactics and terrorize the population into voting for them by using migrants as the scapegoat. So all the racists kick off about the migrants because every day they're getting told the migrants are doing this. Migrants are getting free iPhones. Migrants are getting free cars. Oh, a migrant gets a good job, but we're not going to give you one. Oh, we're going to give migrants houses, but not you one. Oh, migrants get this, migrants get that, but you can't have it because you're white British. Every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, this has been going on for months now. Months. And it's all reform and Nigel Farage. Every single bit of it. Because the government would never do this because it would cause a revolution. Eventually, you're going to get a revolution if you do that. And if you start the fucking flames, you can't always put it out. Governments know this, right? So they don't push their luck. It's this party who are desperate for power. They're using terror and fear to get it. Which is what a terrorist does, by the way. That's the definition of a political terrorist, is someone who uses terror to achieve their political goals. So unfortunately, the UK is on the brink of being taken over by some nationalist terrorists called Nigel Farage and Reform.
Not making any moves to rectify the situation in the UK. It is, a response to culture eroding. And if we can't talk about that, nothing's going to ever be resolved. Let's keep watching.
And the Reform UK councils within the UK have been taking down the flags because they know the sentiment behind it. They understand the subliminal messaging and the symbolism behind having those flags posted up on lampposts, literally bunting across the street. The flags mean so.
Think about that. So your leaders and the ones who are calling for reform in your country are taking down your country's flags.
See, that's what I mean. The political party Reform even used the fact that we were all calling for government reform for years. So we want government improvements. They need to change things and make themselves better. We need the government to reform and improve, right? So these bunch of nationalist racists came up with the idea, well, we'll just call a political party Reform. Ho ho ho! They even called their propaganda machine GB News. For the people, by the people. Like, honestly, my whole country is being brainwashed in front of my very eyes, and no matter how much I tell anyone, nobody believes it. It's like watching a hypnotist who's hypnotized the entire audience except you. That's what it's like, I swear.
And y'all think y'all don't have a problem?
So much more. Specifically the St. George flag. That flag specifically only really comes out when specifically white British people are trying to prove a point about who's British.
No, that flag comes out anytime we're talking about Britain and England. You go to the World Cup, you'll see the English flag. You go to the Rugby World Cup, you'll see the English flag. You go to the Olympics, you'll see the British flag. You go to any tennis tournament in the world, you'll see a British or English flag. You go to any cricket tournament in the world, you'll see a British or English flag. You go to any sailing competition in the world, I guarantee you see an English or British flag. We use it to represent us as people. It has nothing to do with racism and nothing to do with migrants. And I don't understand how this black British girl is trying to use this to make herself the victim. Every damn time something's going on, some woman tries to make it out she's the victim because of it. For fuck's sake, women. Sort her out.
British and who is not. That flag has been the poster board for so many far-right groups that back racism and back xenophobia against immigrants, specifically immigrants of colour. But this is like, as a young black person, as a young person of colour in the UK, it's scary. And then you couple this.
I find her nose ring scarier than everything else she said. Like, everything else she said. Like, even in her video, she's trying to draw your attention to her nose rings rather than her dull personality and the fact she's lying. She's using truth to lie. You know, oh, I'm the victim because flags are up. Oh, I'm the victim about this. I'm the victim about that. Because I'm a woman, I'm the victim. Always the victim. Thank God not all women are like her. Fuck me.
With the increased support for Reform UK because of how anti-migrant they are and pro-economy or whatever the bullshit they're spewing.
They're not pro-economy. They're not pro-economy. They're pro-racism anti-migrant. At least that's true. You're correct there, but they don't have good economics.
It's the British regurgitation of the Republican Party. I can't even lie. This country is
No, that's the Tory party. The Tory party is the Republican Party. What are you on about? She has no clue what she's talking about.
off the back of immigrants. Your national dish is butter chicken.
That's not a problem. I don't think it is. I think it's
What? Whose national dish is butter chicken?
The British regurgitation of the Republican Party. I can't even lie. This country is built off the back of immigrants.
No, the country is built entirely on immigrants. Because we all came here on a boat. Even the white people. We came from European, Viking nations, Scandinavian countries, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the French, the Germans, like Anglo-Saxons. Everyone's family came on here on a boat. Because it's an island, it's literally physically impossible to get here thousands of years ago when no one lives here unless you came on a boat. Unless maybe, some mountain fell on your toe and you jumped so high that you somehow landed on an island in the middle of the ocean, sure. But otherwise, no. Everyone's a fucking migrant.
Your national dish is butter chicken.
No, our national dish is not butter chicken. They might have changed it to butter chicken recently because apparently more people are eating it than fish and chips. But do you know why that is? More people are eating that because of fish and chips, because the fish is shit. We've given all of our fishing rights over waters to foreign countries like France and Spain and Portugal and shit, right? So we don't get any good fish anymore. So, literally, you cannot buy good cod and fish in this country unless you go to a premium restaurant, like a sushi restaurant or a premium restaurant. You won't get good fish. Maybe in the harbour of a coastal town, you'll get a good fish and chip shop. You'll get like one good fish and chip shop, like on a beach somewhere. Fine. And that's only because there's a fisherman near there who goes out, gets the good fish, delivers it to them. You cannot get good cod in the supermarket. You cannot get good cod in any supermarket in this country. It's all shit. And so nobody wants to eat that bullshit. Whereas in the 90s and the 2000s, to be honest, fish and chips was better than a Chinese. It was better than a McDonald's. It was so tasty, so juicy, so succulent. And now it's all this soggy, non-flaky bullshit that's more like a different fish to cod, shall we say. Because yes, they can get away with selling cod that isn't even cod.
That's not a problem. I don't think it is. I think it's like chicken tikka masala or something like that. And I also think like
No, it's not.
the number one name is Mohammed.
Yeah, that's because there's more people. In Islam, they call all their children, obviously, religious names sometimes. The same as in Christianity. So, we don't call all of our children John. We did used to call nearly all boys like John, James, Matthew. Like, if you added up all the Christian names and compared them to Muhammad, the Christian names far outnumber it. But Muhammad's the main Islamic name, and most Muslims will call their firstborn son Muhammad in the effort to try and, religiously appease Islam or whatever. But that's only changed in the last, 15 years anyway. Before that, the most common name was John. Specifically, John Smith.
Or is it coronation chicken? One of the two. Sorry, I misspoke. The British...
I love me some coronation chicken, But anyone, if I ever find sultanas in my coronation chicken, I go mental. Mental. Just gets put in the bin. I don't want fruit in my curry, you weirdos.
national dish is, in fact, chicken tikka masala.
Think about that, okay? And I'm not messing with
Love me some chicken tikka, love me
British
some
food
chicken
like
tikka.
that, okay? Spotted dick and and your English breakfast and all this stuff and beans on toast. It's not for me. It's not for me. But your national dish is chicken tikka masala?
Yeah, it changed. That's only because more people eat it than eat fish and chips. Because the fish and chips is shit. Whereas chicken tikka is not shit. It's great. And do you know where chicken tikka was invented, by the way? Chicken tikka was invented in Britain. Chicken tikka is not an Indian dish. It was invented in England because English people liked it by some Indians. So it's still chicken tikka is still an English dish because it was invented in this country. It was just invented by some Indians because the English people liked it.
Oh, gosh.
Either way, it's not English.
You just need to pick up a book. Get off YouTube and pick up a book. You know nothing. You used to know fucking nothing.
Chinese and Indian takeaways than there are fish and chips in this fucking country.
Because the fish and chips is shit now. Because they sold all of our fishing rights to foreign countries, so we don't get any good fish anymore. And they even try and sell fish that isn't cod as cod.
This country would die without immigrants. You saw what happened after Brexit and all of our resources were completely depleted, right? So for a country that relies on immigrants so much, to have such a rise in anti-immigrant rhetoric, and
It's crazy she's not asking herself the question, why then? If you believe that the backbone of your country is truly immigration, why would people not be able to recognize that then? And why would there be this rise in anti-immigration rhetoric? Ask
Brainwashing. And more brainwashing.
yourself the question, why is your national dish chicken tikka masala?
Because we all love it. It was invented in England, and the fish and chips is shit.
Like, why is the number one name Mohammed?
Because there's more people named Muhammad than anything else. Because every Muslim family's firstborn son is named Muhammad in a tribute to their prophet Muhammad of Islam. The same reason why Christian families all name their children from Christian names of the gospel. Matthew, Luke, John, James. I could go on. But before that, Muhammad, the most popular name in the country was John. My brother's called John. My dad is called John. My uncle is called John. I have my one granddad is called Johnny, and the other one is Jeff. May you rest in peace, both of you. They're not with us anymore. So I've got a brother called John, a dad called John, an uncle called John, a granddad called Johnny, another one called Jeff. My mother's called Joan. Like, we're a whole family of J's. So, literally, I've got 5 family members I can think of who are called John. Is it 5? Brother, dad, uncle, granddad. Who was the 5th? Okay, 4. I've got 4 immediate family members called John.
I'm gonna ask the question, and then you guys can maybe answer it for me, all of you UK residents and UK natives in the comments down below. Why are we not able to address that and have a conversation about that? And these are like...
We are, it's just because you're women, you're always the victim. And so men get sick of it. We get sick of the fact that no matter what we talk about, you women are always the victim.
Minor things in comparison to the cultural erosion, in comparison to the crime that's taking place in the UK. And she's a young woman making this video right now, and I don't see her addressing the massive gang problem in the UK that politicians like Kemi Badenoch are bringing to the forefront.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about the gang rape issue, the problem is 80% of all convicted rapists and child sex offenders in the UK are white British. So every time someone mentions, these foreign migrants committing crimes and these grooming gangs, right, they avoid the fact that white people commit this crime more, and they've never ever mentioned the white people committing the crimes, but as soon as a black person committed it, they're up in arms screaming about it. So what it shows is that they care less when it's a white rapist, but they care more when it's a black rapist, so they're racist. That's what it means. So, unfortunately, it's a big issue. It's a whole big issue. And the grooming gangs issue is negligent politicians and a negligent government. So the government and the police of the UK have been lenient towards ethnic minorities over white nationals because they don't want to look racist. They don't want to look like they're charging black people with crimes more or Indian people with crimes more than white people. So they charge the white people harsher, even though they're the ones who are national, like to the land sort of thing. And that ended up resulting in things being overlooked and criminals being allowed to get away with crimes that they shouldn't have been allowed to get away with, such as the Rotherham grooming gang scandal. However, the Rotherham grooming gang also involved white people. There wasn't just Indian and Pakistani men, there was also white people involved. If I remember correctly, there was also 2 white twin brothers involved. But they're never mentioned. GB News will never mention the white sexual criminals. They will only ever mention ones who are migrants. And so because of all these news channels trying to brainwash us, every TV channel, every social media, every phone in our hands, all of our TVs, they're all trying to brainwash us with what they believe and sell us a load of bullshit. And so we're just not buying it. Most of us are just not buying any of it. We're just staying out of it. We get on with our lives. We work hard. We have a happy life. We look after our children. And that's it. You know, we just try and stay out of it. But we're being dragged into it. We're being dragged into it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The government and the papers are trying to drag us into this shit. And a lot of people, they just don't want to be a part of it, to be honest. Why is Matt Greenscreen doing that? What's going on there?
And wanting to bring out a full-scale investigation about, why are we not talking about that? And the fact that immigration plays a major, massive role in that crime being committed against young women. And she's not talking about a fear of walking home because of that. She's not talking about a fear of going out into the streets of the city because of that. But she is talking about a fear of sitting on the tube and having a razor blade be on the seat, or getting acid attacked by a far-right extremist, which we have no evidence of. It's really interesting what we choose to focus on.
Being like...
She's used the truth to lie at every occasion on this video and make herself the victim. I'm sorry, she's a typical narcissistic female.
What's the word?
She's a toxic female.
Like, it manifesting through these flags, posted up everywhere, is worrying and concerning, and it's something a lot more people need to be concerned about.
There you go. I mean, this is
She tried to use the word manifest to sound smart. For fuck's sake, it's a joke, this,
not
man.
at all different to what we hear leftists say in the United States. Whenever they see the U.S. flags, they say this is a sign of racism, white supremacy. You're clearly a conservative.
See what I mean about the lefts and rightists? So because this girl has anti-flag ideology, this American has instantly identified her as a lefty, because people in America who are against the US flag are lefties. So she must be a lefty because she's against the flag. You see what I mean by this? She's brainwashed. This girl here on YouTube brainwashed. CIA, PSYOP, bullshit.
If you clearly voted for Donald Trump, you're clearly somebody who I hate, who is a bigot. The list goes on and on and on. And I do think it is far less likely now to see these things out and about than it would have been in our nation's history, in probably the UK's history. And you are going to see this resurgence as people start to feel as though their culture is eroding, that crimes are being committed by migrants who are coming into the country who don't respect the culture, who don't respect the law. When you are living in the UK and you read that there are literal Sharia courts being placed in your country, which means that these migrants coming into the country are adhering to Sharia law.
No. What the Sharia law courts are is the same as the Christian church have their own courts. The church, right, if they have a priest who they find out has committed sexual crimes, but the police doesn't know, the church will have their own court system and tribunal to deal with it and extradite them to a faraway land so the church doesn't get found out that they committed crimes. Now, Islam has a similar thing where if someone breaches Islamic law, the local religious community has their own system. And that's what them Sharia courts are. And what the racists have done is try to use that to imply that Sharia law is in place in the UK and trying to take over. When no, it's just a bunch of Muslims trying to stop bad Muslims being bad Muslims, essentially. It's not they're not trying to enforce Sharia law. They're trying to stop men within their community breaking it. And so people have used that lie trying to say that they're trying to change the law in the UK, when they're not. Like, these are all thick as fuck.
Rather than the law of your nation. I think I understand why people want to put up a UK flag. When you hear politicians like Kemi Badenoch bring up the fact that we need an investigation into all the different cities and townships that are dealing with
her party caused the illegal migration problem by changing the immigration rules and laws after we left the EU, which is causing the current problem. She has no leg to stand on in the migration debate. Her entire political party has no leg to stand on because they created this entire thing. And the person who helped them do it? Nigel Farage, who, go figure, was a Tory for nearly 20 years.
decades-long issue of Pakistani
Figure that one out.
gangs raping young women in the UK. You might want to put up a
Yeah, she mentions the Pakistani rape gangs because she knows that the negligence committed by those in power were her political opponents, not her members of her group. So those in power who overlook certain things, trying not to look racist, are members of the Labour Party or Labour councillors. And so she knows by hammering this point, it makes Labour look bad. She's not doing it because she cares about women. She's not doing it because she cares about children being attacked. She's not doing it because she has some sort of morals or virtue. She is literally using it to try and hurt her opponents because she can't look good any other way. Her entire party literally caused this problem, and if she cared, she wouldn't be telling you about her opponents' problems. She would be admitting what her and her party did and trying to fix it. And they're not. They blame everyone else and say it was everyone else's fault. But they were the government in power when it happened. They were the ones who caused this situation. And so whose fault is it really?
Flag. I don't know, and start talking about preserving your country. When you see people getting stabbed for their Rolex, which happened, I think...
I'm sorry, you shouldn't be leaving the house with a Rolex. If you leave the house with a Rolex, it's your own stupid fault. It's your own stupid fault. You might as well walk along the street with a cash stack like this thick. Like, just walk along the street with like this much in cash stacked in your hand. Like, Rolexes can be worth from £10,000 to £100,000 and even more. So if you're walking down the street in the UK, if you've got a Rolex on, it's no different to having £10,000 in cash in your hands. All they need to do is take it from you. It's no different. You have to be one stupid motherfucker to walk around with a Rolex in the UK. One stupid motherfucker. Absolute idiots.
The night before I arrived in the UK this year, we got to start having a conversation. When people are getting their shit jacked from their purse, their person, they're sitting down having a meal and boom, their phone is snatched. We got to start having a conversation about it. And I get that people of all different races.
But these things were always happening. People were always getting their phones snatched in high schools, in colleges and universities, long before we had this mass migration problem, but nobody said anything about it until now.
Races and backgrounds are capable of these crimes, commit these crimes, but when you start to see like the percentages and you're breaking that down and you're looking at the stats and you're seeing, oh, okay, maybe we do have an issue here and maybe migration is a big part of that issue. Have the conversation. And when you don't allow...
So not the people who are allowing the migrants to come here and not stopping it, they're not the problem. Oh no, it's this idiot on a boat. It's these idiots on a boat coming, right? It's not the people who let them come here and haven't stopped them coming here. Oh no, it's the people on the boat's fault. This is what I mean, you're all brainwashed. Even she, in America, is brainwashed in this situation to blame the migrant, not the people running the immigration system. I, personally, blame the people running the system. So when the hospital system collapses, I don't blame the patients, I blame the manager of the hospital. When a school's system is failing, I don't blame the students, I blame the head teacher. So when an immigration system is failing, I don't blame the immigrants, I blame the person managing the system, which is the British government. That's Labour, that's Keir Starmer, that's who I blame.
Allow these people to have this conversation.
Now if you want to talk about who caused it, that's the Tory party and Nigel Farage. But who hasn't stopped it, that's the Labour Party and Keir Starmer.
Conversation, and you are judging them for simply putting the flag out. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to put more flags out. I mean, I read a story the other day of a guy, I believe in the UK, and I'm going to have to pull this up, who got arrested.
He's not a guy from the UK. He's a writer who does satire, and he got arrested because they had to check whether he was serious or satirical about something because it was quite extremist, because that's the law. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We've got police officers who literally brutally assault members of the public during mental health detainments when they're not even guilty of a crime. They've just got a disability, and the police will give them injuries and physically assault them and call it reasonable, right? So we've got far bigger problems than a writer being arrested. I'm sorry, The police do a lot of shit in this country. A lot of shit.
Arrested for his posts on social media about the country and about its issues. Now, mind you, this guy was talking about like the gender critical conversation and everything that's happening with transgenderism and the movement there in the UK. We've also seen other guys get in trouble for putting up stickers across the UK that were deemed to have white supremacist sentiments. Okay, so when you can't say things freely without being arrested, and you're a citizen of the country. But migrants moving into your country get to go to Sharia law courts. You have a...
You don't... This is what I mean. You new generation, right? You're clearly younger than me. You don't understand the stuff you're talking about. So you get this little fact and this half-truth, and you cross them together and think they're both fact, and then build your entire argument on it, and then you end up looking stupid. And you're all going to think I'm the stupid one because I'm not brainwashed like you, and so I must be wrong.
problem. I look crazy, but you have a problem.
You are crazy.
And, you know, the flags being posted on your streets and in the city and by businesses and by homeowners are the least of your problems in the UK. Just for anybody listening.
She's right about that. The biggest problem is the government.
Right now, in my opinion. Now, go down to the comments down below to hear from actual UK residents and citizens for them to tell you what they're experiencing. But I have a feeling that the issue is not the Union Jack, and it's not St. George flags, guys.
It's not. It's the government. That's right. It's not migrants. It's not the flag. It's the government. And it's the fact that everyone is being brainwashed with bullshit every day, and they don't think for themselves. They don't use their own brain and think for themselves. They just hear something and repeat it like a parrot. Like 90% of people in the UK have become parrots. They just parrot everything they hear, and everything that they've ever heard is parroted. That's it. They're all parrots. They're all sheep. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.